Ray, he's your number one. Welcome back. We were on hiatus for a bit, but we are back for this conversation with the next mayor of New York City, the man with the plan to bring this city back. Ray McGuire is in your virtual building. Ray, even though you're late.
What's up?
You're late, but you have a good excuse, right?
I've been out in them streets.
Out in them streets. Like your people say, you've been out there ripping and running.
You know I've been ripping and running. I've been ripping and running, getting it done the right way. I was in my man Caesar Black Ink today, hitting it hard. I'm saying.
All right, so you out there meeting people?
I'm out
at subways.
I'm just in the subways. In the subway, I dug a man digging on me. You see. You don't know nothing about that. You don't know nothing about that.
That's my God.
That's
really?
The poets.
Okay. All right.
Y'all got light to lit tonight. This is the last night too. Maybe I don't know what's up.
Yeah, well, you said you are ripping and running the streets. We need to provide more time.
That's what I'm going to be doing. I just want folk to know. I don't want folk to sleep on this. That's what I'm going to be doing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring somebody else into the conversation who can confirm that you are ripping and running the streets. Crystal. Crystal. So he says he was late for ripping and running. I know from the schedule he is, and you know that he is out in these streets.
Out in these streets, grinding hard. Give him a little, cut him a little slack.
Okay. All right.
Just a little. Just for tonight.
Just a little bit.
He was working hard. Yes.
Okay. All right.
You know what? And he came home from the streets and he brought a few groceries home too.
Look at, you know what? You just added on extraness, Crystal. So basically what you're saying is that if we have Ray McGuire for mayor, that he is not only going to bring the greatest, most inclusive comeback to the city, he's going to make sure we got groceries.
That's right.
In the refrigerator when we get home too.
Right. That's right. He takes care, a man that takes care of his family and his home first, that he's taking care of everybody else. He has his priorities straight.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Husband of the year. Husband of the year.
Yes. Husband of the year. Vote for husband of the year. Rank him on your ballot on June 22nd. He will make sure you not only have your city has the greatest comeback, but you got groceries in the refrigerator.
Yes.
I feel like we need to cut a commercial for that?
I think so, and something for everybody. And guess what? Getting it from local grocers.
Small
businesses that have grocery stores, right?
Listen, Ray, you got the people around you that know how to sell you here. I feel you've made great choices in picking people. It seems that you made some.
I'm right. I'm listening to y'all. Y'all know what I'm listening to. I'm going live tonight. Y'all mind, do you? Y'all mind before I got on this thing, I was a little late because I listened to my man. Y'all want to hear a little bit of this?
Oh my gosh.
Boy. What are you about to pull?
Here we go.
Definitely get busy. We get money, stay 100. We don't never keep it 50 and no cosign, no rats over here, my G. Only scopes on them straps over here, my G. A lot of security with badges over there, I see. You brought the law with you. I brought them hitters with me. It ain't a nigga
Crystal.
that was realer than me.
Yeah,
Crystal.
Sure. Yeah, he worked on getting that for us. Thank you, sweetheart.
Crystal, is he?
You know what that is?
Is he being old black uncle and playing stuff from his
who that is?
I don't know what he's playing that for.
I'm telling you what I'm playing. I'm playing Meek Mill freestyle on Flex.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. See, we just had you that you was gonna bring back the greatest, most inclusive comeback and bring groceries.
I'm just saying.
And now you done told the people you gonna randomly roll up in them and play rap music from your phone.
Right. That's Meek. Meek got a message. Meek Mill got a message. I'm just trying to say to y'all. Okay, I'm keeping it real.
Oh my God. If you have questions like why is he randomly have Meek Mill freestyle on his phone?
That's not random. That's random. I ain't random and random about that. Meek is not random. Okay.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I have something for you, Ray.
Okay.
You are out in the streets ripping and running, talking to people about your plan.
I'm in Bed-Stuy and I'm all over Jamaica. I'm all over Central Harlem, Northern Bronx, Central Bronx, Staten Island, Far Rockaway.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, it's not just you out there, though.
no, it's not just me. No,
You have. I'm going to bring Patrick
my
into
man
this
right there.
conference.
That's my man. That's my man in the paint. I'm saying he go hard. Okay, Patrick.
Well-
No, y'all ain't got nothing for Patrick. I don't care what y'all say. That's my
Patrick.
What's up,
Patrick
Ray?
is coming live from the campaign office right now. Patrick, so Ray is ripping and running the streets.
He in
Oh.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm in
That's what
Brooklyn.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Tell him where you are, Patrick. Tell him where you are, man.
we're right here in Bed-Stuy, you know, in Brooklyn, holding the office down, welcoming people, and just go hard. We just don't stop.
All right. So y'all were out today. Well,
Yep.
What's the weekend looking like?
Be out tomorrow morning hard. We going hard tomorrow. I can figure where we going tomorrow, but we out there. Let's see. Saturday. I know what the schedule is like now. Where am I going? Saturday. Let's see. We're
Patrick,
going.
what's going on with the volunteers out there?
Look, we have them knocking doors, making calls. They're just not stopping. They're excited. And so we're just trying to keep the momentum going. There's folks coming in and out of our office right now, just really committed to what's going on. I think people feel what we're doing, so it's exciting.
Well, that's great to hear that people are coming in and out of the office looking to volunteer on the weekend or when they have free time to help get Ray elected, ranking them on their ballot, ranking him number one, asking for that number one vote up at the top. And it's really encouraging to hear and also to see that there are people not only in Brooklyn, in the Harlem office, out in Southeast Queens, Far Rockaway, that are coming out and engaging with Ray on a regular basis. And y'all still in the office and it's 7 o'clock. That means that people really are looking for a good mayor.
Yeah, look, 207 Lewis. We're here every night. We're here every day. So if you want to come down and help us, 207 Lewis, you can find us here, all day. Ready?
All day. We in, Patrick. Lewis and Lexington, we in all day long.
Yeah.
And if I ain't there, Patrick's there holding it down, okay?
Thank you so much. Thanks, Patrick. I'll let you get back because I know y'all doing phone calls on the Friday night. So I appreciate you. And I know y'all have to be out in the street tomorrow. I think, Ray, you're going to the farmer's market out at Prospect Park too. So make sure to go to rayformayor.com and see all of the events and activities and holler at Patrick, roll up on the office. What's the office again, Patrick?
Again, it's 207 Lewis Avenue. 207 Lewis Avenue. All day, all night. Anytime you want. 207 Lewis Avenue, always taking volunteers.
All right. Thanks so much, Patrick.
Patrick.
Thank you.
So Crystal, I've seen pictures of you out at subway stops as well.
Yes. Listen, I am out wherever I am needed, however I can be supportive of Ray, and really just talking to the people and getting his message and his platform out, being able to talk to folks in, neighborhoods across all 5 boroughs about what's on their minds. And, Ray, again, for people who haven't been to this platform before, Ray has, never run for public office before, never been in public office. And so, a part of getting his message out is getting it out from the people like myself as his wife, and many, many others across all 5 boroughs who know what a person of integrity is, who know what his plan is for New York City. And that is to have the biggest, most inclusive comeback that this city has ever experienced. And so, it's wonderful for Ray and I to just have the opportunity to get out there and hear firsthand what is on the minds of New Yorkers. We've been doing the work out in communities throughout New York City for decades, but now we're doing it in a way where we are asking people for their vote. And we have to let them know why they should vote for Ray McGuire and make him their number one choice. So we are out there to answer all questions. We are out there to spread the word. We are blessed to have so many volunteers across the city, which is really a part of the engine that is driving the ground game of this campaign, which is so strong. So we remain incredibly encouraged as folks are out there letting us know that Ray's message is resonating. His message on, bringing back 500,000 jobs. I mean, it's so great to be out there. People are like, go big, go small, go forward. I mean, people are paying attention. People are inspired, and people want Ray as their leader of New York City. So it's been an incredible experience getting to know so many different New Yorkers.
Well, I want to bring, I have 3 New Yorkers so far in the queue.
By the way, Joe, just one thing, my man captured this a while back, probably 50 years ago. My man Sly Stone.
Oh boy.
It's a family affair.
You have to play another song. Don't play another song. Please.
All right.
Y'all know Sly Stone is a
okay.
Hit.
Yeah,
so I might need you to go take the phone. I might need you to go take the phone.
I don't want to have to be like, don't make me have to press mute, but I don't I need like a master mute.
I know. Well, we have other supporters that want to jump in. And those of you who are watching, believe me, if this is your first time watching when we do on Friday, Ray does not shy away from any question. We bring it up. We bring all of it up. So if you have a question, throw it in the comments, throw it in the chat, and Ray will definitely answer it. But you talk about those supporters, Crystal. We're going to bring one of the supporters up to talk about her support for Ray and his plan for the city. Karen Boykin Towns
wow, look at her.
So, I know
that's like royalty. Karen Boykin said, come on, y'all, what quit playing?
Yes, from the Brooklyn, from the Towns family, but also, this is more important. I know she know you and everything, but she's like my mentor, my friend. She was in my wedding. She was my matron of honor. So like
right, you cut the whole AV system off.
So like she my friend. No.
Don't get too comfortable.
Yeah, don't try.
We better don't get too comfortable.
I don't want y'all to mute me. I'm gonna be quiet.
But Karen, I wanted to give you an opportunity. I know you wanted to talk specifically from your perspective, having, New York is your home, just like all of ours, to talk specifically about your support for Ray. And I know you had questions as well.
Well, great to see you guys. And I am thrilled to be here. I watch on Fridays, and I think it is the funniest, most candid, informative thing. And so normally when Joy would ask me, she would ask me on like Friday afternoons. And I'm just like, so she asked me on Wednesday so I could prepare, move things around. And so it's great to see you. And you're doing such a great job, Ray and Crystal. You're amazing. But I think for me, the reason why you are my number 1 ranked choice for mayor of the city of New York, who I only met, you came to the house, I think in August, right? It was only August of 2020. I, of course, had heard of you before. And if I'm honest, I was probably one of those very cynical people. I've been in corporate America 22 years. And it was just like, oh, that's nice. And I knew the other candidates, but we were in the midst of a global pandemic and things were not the way they had ever been in my lifetime. And, was seeing the challenges of friends with businesses and the kids being at home. I mean, it was just really thinking about that time gives me anxiety, but it was a really tough time. And thinking about what this city needed, it wasn't just for me politics as usual, even though I know a number of the candidates and they're good people. But for me, I just thought we needed something different because the times are so different. And this city is really at a crossroads where we can go either way. There is no guarantee that things will go back to the way they were unless we have leadership that understands how to get us there. And so, your biggest, most inclusive comeback the city has ever seen is really exciting, and seeing the plans are great. But, certainly there's a lot of work to be done. And I think for, someone who married into politics, to knowing the importance of name recognition, you've done a great job in just terms of being out there and getting people to know you. And what I will say is that the people that I talk to, once people have met you, then it's a game changer, because it is just like, wow. You met my cousin April Ryan I guess was that earlier this week. And I think she's going to be on Oprah's show talking about your plans as it relates to education and young people learning finance, and the literacy, financial literacy. And so I guess for me, my question to you is, being out in these streets, because you're not just on these Twitter streets, you're actually in these streets all over the city. What are you learning the most? What are you most impacted by? What is it that maybe you didn't know when you entered the race that you've really heard over and over again that, has really pressed you?
So there are two or three things. First of all, thank you for your support. You are royalty, and you are so respected and so admired. And to have your support means I've been vetted at the highest level of scrutiny. So thank you for that. There are two or three things that I'm hearing. And let me put them in these categories. There's safety, there's the economy, and then there's housing. So safety, in every neighborhood I go into, people want to make sure that we have better policing. I have not gone into one community where they're talking about defunding the police. I just be clear about this. None of the communities that I've visited are talking about defunding. They want better policing. They want to make sure that the police treat them. They want the police to protect them and not profile them. But I don't see anybody out there talking about defund. And maybe the language is, applied different. Nobody's talking about cutting the budget. People want to have better policing. And the other thing they want to have under the headline of safety is they want to have somebody come in and deal with the mentally ill.
Yes.
The mentally ill people that problem has been really bad and worsened by COVID. So people look at this and say, I want to be safe. Get the guns off the street and deal with the mentally ill.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? That's the question. So we got to make the streets safe. My plan gets the mentally ill care, and we'll get them off the streets. Safe beds, safety beds, making certain that we go for, the assisted treatment centers, all those things. They asked me today how much money would I put to them. We have a budget, $245 million budget for mental health. We put $1.4 billion and $1.4 million. I said I'd double it, I'd triple it, maybe go to $5 million as needed and more in the first budget. So we have to get mental health under control and safety under control. The other thing people are concerned about is jobs. Now, I was today in Brooklyn. A guy pulled me aside and said, listen, I just need a job. I got no job. And so I got no job. I got nothing. He says, you get me a job. All this crime stuff is going down. That stuff is going to go away. Get me a job and get me a place that I can afford once I got a job. Because right now, man, I ain't got no place. I got a job, but the rent's too high. And the places they build, I can't afford. So what you going to do about that? So I got to get the economy. Remember, I got no job. I got no dignity. I got nothing. And so I add to that, I got no rims or nets on the backboard. I got no summer job. I got no community center. And I got no broadband or tablet. And I live in a 5 to 6 room. I live with 5 or 6 other people in a really small space. And, my cat just got the newest Jordans. And I got nothing. So what do? I mean, that's the real. That's what I'm picking up. I knew it existed, but now this is hard out here. So we got to get this economy back. We got to give our kids the opportunity. Give our children the opportunity. Karen, we fail so much on this.
Yeah.
We fail so much.
It's about the police. I mean, I want to have confidence in being able to pick up the phone and call them if there's a situation. But right now, you're concerned that call can go left real quick.
Real quick.
And, it's one of these things that, it shouldn't be a either or.
Right.
It should be an and. We should be able to have police that live in our neighborhoods, know our community, respect our community, don't come in to terrorize our community. And what I know is that the majority are good people, right? The majority
Right.
are just
Right.
really trying to do their job. And what is that saying? It can't be a bad apple when maybe there's a problem with the entire tree, but we have to root that out. But, our taxes pay for them, and we should be able to have confidence that, we call them, we're going to get the help that we need, and not have, someone become a hashtag.
So, this for me is accountability, Karen, as I think about it. I call it a culture of respect, accountability, and proportionality. And the way I'm going to get that is to restructure the NYPD along the following lines. And it's outlined in my go for arrayformayor.com. One, I'm going to have a deputy mayor for public safety, Karen, that does the day-to-day management of the NYPD, connected to the communities as well. We got a real handle on the pulse of what's taking place in the community. I'm going to have a chain of command accountability. Now, there's going to be real responsibility and accountability there. One or more officers commits an infraction, the entire chain gets held accountable. So we should begin to see some immediate differences there. Then, because 4 to 5 of the 10 calls that go into 911 today have to do with mental health issues, I'm going to create a mental health and emergency social services core team of mental health care professionals sitting in the subways, sitting in the NYPD. And then when it comes to accountability, further accountability, CCRB, I'm going to give them full investigative authority. Rather than take 48 days review video cam footage, I'm going to give it to 48 hours, give it to them in 48 hours. And they get the full file. They will, based on their review, make a recommendation to the commissioner. And then based on that commissioner's response to that recommendation, I may have to take additional action, but it's ultimately going to be from my account.
Yeah.
And I want to invest in community policing. Used to be growing up, we knew who the police were and they knew who we were. Invest in community policing. I want to invest in the violence interrupters, the cure violence folks. We got some great ones out there. I want to invest in summer jobs. I got to get a summer job. I get a summer job, kept me out of trouble, right?
Yep.
And I want to invest in community centers, not only for the children, the youth in the community, but also community centers for the elders. We got the elder services. So I'm looking at this holistically, but I got to start with the respect, accountability, and proportionality. We got to return that respect. And unless I root the tree out, the neighborhood that respect ain't going to come back.
That's right.
We got to have the whole thing working.
That's right. Well, listen, I am so thankful that you and Crystal would make this sacrifice of, joining to really help bring our city back. And I am honored and thrilled to have you as my #1 candidate. And certainly we know that early voting starts, listening to Joy, early voting starts June 12th. And election day is actually almost a month from now. And I know you will be in these streets working hard up until, the polls close on the 22nd. But thank you so much for all you're doing. The family loves you, and continue to work hard and, the win. And let's go for the victory.
So Karen, thank you. I just want to be clear about something so everybody understands this. When we get there, we're going to rely on your advice and experience. I just want to be clear, okay?
Well,
We'll
whatever
will need
Crystal
that.
asks me to do, it's done.
Okay. We're going to need that. You are exemplary in that for which you stand, and your family, you have been so extraordinary to so many people. You've impacted so many lives, including Crystal's and mine. So thank you for that. But, we know where you live. We know your phone number. We were down there at City Hall. When the call comes through, don't act like you don't know us, okay?
Never.
Don't have to-
Enjoy. I'm going to see you tomorrow, 10:30.
See you tomorrow. All right.
Well, why y'all making appointments on this? Is that what y'all do?
No, we got.
Listen, if you can bring your phone and start playing random rap music, we can make appointments to see each other. Okay, Ray.
My
Bye,
music wasn't-
Karen.
Okay, bye, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you were doing that. So we have some great
I just
questions.
very clear. My music wasn't random.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, we have questions queuing up, so I want to get
whatever
to
question y'all got. Put them in the chat. Wave at Joy. Whatever y'all got. You know how that works.
yes, they know. But I want to bring because you mentioned something, and Crystal, this is something that you've talked about before. Whether it's in your economic plan or you're talking about public safety and community, you're talking about you also talk about the responsibility that the mayor has in providing resources for young people and places for them to be. And quite often, we live in a society where we are shooing away young people from things, right? I don't know if you've been to like business areas and young people get out of school, and then you have security shooing them away from being down, in front of a business district. And then we're telling them, go and do something, but we haven't provided enough community centers. We haven't provided enough jobs for them to go do something. But we think of them as a nuisance when they're around places where we want to go and, we want to go to work, we want to go and hang out, and then there are kids here, right? So we haven't, as a city, really provided a in-depth infrastructure for young people to be. And so I have two gentlemen that bring to the conversation. First, Ty Brown, he lives and grew up in Crown Heights, and he runs an amazing youth program in Crown Heights. He also is a business owner. He runs 2 restaurants and an event space as well. And so also have Tyrone Williams, better known as Fly Ty, the producer of the first hip hop radio show ever, Mr. Magic's Rap Attack, and the founder of Cold Chillin' Records, to talk about investment in our youth.
Well, one of them, Ty Brown, he's got a lot of music I can hear.
So we'll start with Fly Ty. We'll start with you. I think Ty Brown is actually with some young people, possibly at a restaurant. But we'll start with Fly Ty. I know you wanted to come on and talk about investment in youth as well.
You're mute. There you go. Can't hear you.
I know I'm here.
Okay.
So I have some difficulties. I'm here, man. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I am out with some young people, as I always am. First, let me say, Crystal, my first time seeing you, meeting you, and now we know why he's so powerful. Now we know. But thank you both for allowing me to speak about the importance of us keeping young people as a part of this agenda. The future of our city is in our hands to prepare them properly. And I'm not gonna just talk about what we're not doing well, but the solutions is really where we're at. What can we do more of to make sure how we see young people changes? They know that they're not welcome at after school at certain stores or corners. They know that when they walk in groups that they're feared. These are things that they grow up knowing, and we have to do a better job at showing them in amazing positions to help put together our city, pull together our boroughs, and really they have a voice too. And we have to give a voice to the voiceless. And for the past 25 to 30 years, that's what I've been proud of doing. Given an opportunity to talk about the great borough of Brooklyn and the amazing young people and coaches who are doing the work on the ground to see to it that we save these kids' lives. Keep them off the street, direct them in the right path, get them onto whatever success path they may take. Some may do college, some may do entrepreneurship, and our job is to really expose them to all that's possible. And New York City can potentially put out the biggest comeback plan for youth development ever.
So Ty, tell me what, if you're advising me today, first of all, a lot of respect for what you're doing.
Thank you,
You are changing lives. If you had 2 or 3 things that you would want to get done, that you'd want me to get done as a mayor, what those 2 or 3 things be?
I definitely think we need a higher level table for young people to sit at and represent the voice of. whether it's from school to school, whether it's through our city council, and us having leadership teams for young people, and then it has to come back to the streets. So it's not about us just bringing the top students from each school to a table to talk about political change. It's about us going to the gutter, us going to the streets and really, really talking to them and finding out. So more finances around that type of outreach so we can actually hear them. Hearing them is the first part. Then delivering publicly, media, everybody getting on board with the deliverables of what we're hearing in the streets. So we can say, we heard you and here's what we're now going to do. And then getting feedback. Again, whether it's on a city council level or higher or on a Department of Ed level, we need to really get to the streets. I think there needs to be a strong plan for churches to just get out of church. I mean, Brooklyn, I can speak of Brooklyn because that's where I'm from, 3 per block, 3, 4 per block. Everywhere you walk, we have a church. Empty churches, do nothing churches, pastors that don't even live in the community. It's really a wreck. Our religious institutions need to be more accountable for the communities they service. I'm very familiar with the tax breaks from churches. I'm very familiar with these large spaces that are afraid of kids. I'm telling y'all that right now. These pastors, these deacons, these older trustees are afraid of kids. They care more about the space and a kid damaging the space versus open up their doors to youth programs and youth organizations. They need to be held accountable. We need to call them out. We need to talk about what churches can do more of to be able to bring churches to the streets. Each church could sponsor a team for basketball. Each church could have a drum line, a marching band. Every church can do something more. Now, Ray, we're talking about that, but they're going to then ask for the resources. So if we were to do it, they're going to ask for the money to help provide it. So the combination of them being willing and us finding the funds to make it happen, that's where we're going to begin to see real change. You don't have to build centers. If it's feasible, sure. Large banquet halls and centers right out of these empty churches. Nobody's attending these churches. 2,000 members in these pews. So why not open up the doors for the community? So my first thing would be safer places for them to go. And for us to not only reach the good ones. Give me the bad ones. Give me the ones that nobody else want. Give me the ones, because the good ones, yes, they need support, they need guidance straight through college. But we need to reach the ones that are no one else really thinking about. The ones where the parents are not signing them up. The ones where they're coming in on their own and other kids are bringing them in. And that's been the history of Crown Heights, St. John's Park, with an amazing basketball coach over there. We go out to the streets, we bring the worst of the worst in, and we turn them around. We need more support in those areas, sir.
So answer me this, Ty. I got a couple ideas, and I respect what you're saying. I'm taking notes here. What happens, Ty? I got the drum lines. I got the ball. What happens, Ty, if we sponsor a ethical hackathon and or a NBA 2K tournament by borough? Can you hear me? Did you hear me, Ty?
Okay, we're breaking up a little bit, but I think I heard most of it. Yep.
Yeah, Ray, I think because I want to bring in also, I think he's back as well. Tyrone, are you back too in the sound as well to just talk about alternative? I think the key is having alternative programs across the board, right? Ray, is not only the physical, programs like Drumliner, sports or things like that, but then also things that are connected to what kids are actually into.
What today, exactly. Tyrone Williams, can you hear us?
Yeah, he can hear us, but we can't hear him. We got to check his thing. But Ty, Ray is talking about alternative programs and making sure there is funding in his plan, his economic plan, not just a youth plan, but his overall economic plan talks about, that dance that happens every summer. We only got this many youth jobs, and then we're going to cut it, and then we only going to bring this many back. And in Ray's plan, he's talking about, no, for every young person that's eligible and that wants one, I'm going to have one, right? You want to do business with the city, you got to give me youth jobs.
I salute that, and I definitely salute the idea of all of the development that goes on in New York. That funding needs to come from them. You know, we're talking about gentrification. We're talking about these high rises and the landscape changing, because who's signing away on these deals without youth being a part of that project? Who's
Right.
signing away? Why is there no shadowing going on? Why is there no job shadowing? Why doesn't every company that builds in New York City have give me 1% of the conversation having to do with the future of our kids? We do what we do for who? For the kids that we love, our personal kids and the community kids. So every person that comes to the city, every partnership, everything should have a youth component to it. If you can commit to that, if you can commit that every deal, every conversation, everything will have a youth component to it, you will change the world.
That's what we got to do. We in this for the children, man. And I know my plan is to start early. I want to make sure that every kid, no kid gets out of the end of the 3rd grade without being able to read and do math. And then in the 6th grade, I want to make sure that every kid has digital and technology literacy. In the 8th grade, every child gets a summer job and gets exposed to a whole bunch of different careers. They can be mechanics, they can be scientists, they can be software engineers, and they get a summer job from the 8th grade until the time they graduate in the 12th grade. Paid summer job, every one of them. Tyrone Williams.
Well, Ray, I know that's fantastic.
Tyrone Williams.
Todd, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, very good. Listen, I'm a witness, you know, to what Tyrone Brown has done and what Brooklyn United has meant to the neighborhood. You know, I got involved way back in 1996.
Yep.
Ty was a 19-year-old band director. Okay, and I watched a kid leading kids. I watched over the years, we sent hundreds of kids to college. All right, our first college entrant was a guy named Alistair Primo in 2002. From that point on, dozens followed. Every year became the thing to do. It wasn't something that was out of the ordinary. You looked at the kid next to you, and you knew the kid that's missing is in college now. You knew it was real.
Yeah, that's real. That's what we need. That's what this is all about. That's what it's all about.
And so you know, we did it on our own for many years, okay? But there are other programs. You know, at the time we were the Brooklyn Steppers. Ty did Brooklyn United because other programs needed help. These would be a united front. Okay, so if we can get help from you, Ray, I mean, it would be wow. We could perform miracles. We've never really had support from the city. You know, it's all been done on our own volunteering, and you know, somebody like me coming along. You know, and we need effort from other parents, but we got effort from parents. We got effort from people like me because I saw it and it inspired me. You know, I noticed that you have a lot of celebrities supporting you. They can get involved. You know, I had kids ask me because they didn't really know who I was or what I'd done, but they knew I gave financial support and I was there. And they would ask me, well, what's up with this celebrity? What's up with that celebrity? If you can do it, why can't they do it? So, I mean, we need a lot. We need the help with doing it, but we can use all the support you can give. And let me tell you something. That guy Tyrone Brown right there, I'm his biggest fan because I saw what he did. I helped some. I was about trying to help raise money, but he was from sun up to sun down. He's helping kids, and all we need is some support from you and from the city of New York, and we can move mountains.
So let me be clear about this, both of y'all. I got 3 kids. We got 3 kids, along with my beautiful wife.
Mm-hmm.
We're committed to anything. It's our children. I came up the way you're describing. We had a community center. Mm-hmm. I've been in that community center. Who knows where I'd be? And I had a summer job. You know, I dug ditches. I laid tile. I changed bedpans. I took out IDs. I built boxes in the basement and dress shop. But you know what? I had a job, kept me out of trouble, and put a little piece of change in my pocket. We got to do the thing. So what you will get from me is you get that commitment. I'm already committed to summer jobs. I got to invest in the community centers. And yeah, I got to get the faith-based. I got to get the churches involved.
Yes.
I come from the church, so I know about the church, right? So what I will commit is making certain you get the resources. And if the government can't do it, I know the private sector can get it done. Either way, I got public-private partnerships to work with you all. You guys on the ground changing lives. They know how big, this is connecting, as you said, Ty, from the guttermost to the uttermost. That's what we're talking about, right? So y'all get me, because that's what got me here. That's what's up. That's what got me here, okay?
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Ray,
I think definitely.
Ty Brown is saying something.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I just want to speak really quickly about the shootings. I want to talk about the fear factors from mothers. Fortunately, we do have quite a few fathers in my organization, and these are loving fathers, but the mothers are crying, bro.
Yeah.
The mothers are scared because I don't have the space to rehearse a marching band indoors. I have to rehearse outdoors. It's a marching band in New York City.
Right.
And my parents are asking every day, where we practicing, is everything okay? When I get phone calls from parents because they heard sirens near the rehearsal, they are scared, bro. They're scared because other young people have access to guns, and we need to address. That's why we have to get to the worst ones. The good ones that are joining the program are in danger of the others.
Right.
We have to address why young people join gangs. And I can give you a few reasons. Marching band, fraternities, dance teams, they give the family look feeling that the young people are seeking. When they're looking for protection, when they're looking for a family orientated thing from young, I recruit the same way the gangs recruit. I recruit based off of a brotherhood. I recruit based off of a sisterhood. I recruit based off of you wear these colors and these colors only. So the recruitment tactics are the same. What attracts them is the same. That's why we need more.
Right.
We need to get them early. We have to get them at age 4, age 5, and get them into programs where they have that gang affiliation, quote unquote, early. So they don't have a need to be a part of the guns and the violence later on when they're 15 and 16. So I want to just share to you, I want to place this on your heart as a parent. That you represent every New Yorker.
Yeah.
And every New Yorker. And the story in Brooklyn is the same story in the Bronx, same story in Harlem, where our mothers are crying out of fear, where kids are staying in the house. I take my kids out of state just to get some fresh air. Just so they can roam the streets and play basketball or football in the streets, because in New York, the streets is like go home, get inside, and hurry up. That's not the way. That's not quality of life. Our young people are not even being brought up with quality of life because they can't just enjoy the fresh air at nighttime because their mothers are scared. Text me when you get on the bus. Text me when you get home. I just need you to hear the reality of what's going on in our streets, where the quality of life in New York is no longer any good.
I get that. I'll be clear. This is why I'm running. I understand that. It ain't about me, man. It's about we. It's about our children. That's what the whole thing is about. Right? I'm out here fighting for us. I need y'all. I need y'all's input here, okay? That's real. We need to expand what you're doing. We need to, do whatever we can to get our kids into your programs.
Yes, sir.
Well,
so that's good for me.
Ray, really quickly, I learned about you from one of my junior high school buddies who happened to be your Harvard University roommate named Dorian Nunez.
That's my guy. Freshman year.
Right.
Dorian, Claude, and Willie, all from the neighborhood, okay?
All right.
Hard way, right? We didn't know nothing. We got there. So, Dorian's my kid, okay?
Yeah. And you know what? Just to talk about the neighborhood, what was going on. When we were young, 90% of the people that came out of junior high school 35 in our year, or those 3 years, went to college. Because the teachers were vested in us, the parents were vested in us, the neighborhood was vested in us. They stood behind, they pushed us. Everybody that took the test for specialized high school from 35 passed and went. Whether it was Bronx High School of Science, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, Performing Arts, everybody, because we were prepared. And which is one thing Ty always says, he prepares kids. When kids go take tests, they're ready because we prepare them. So once again, all the support that you can give to this is well needed and well deserved.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all got that. That's a fact. Chris and I are in.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks so much for talking about this. I think this is important because, you know, when people are talking about young people, a lot of times they're not actually engaged with young people. And it's like an afterthought, right? You know, it's not included. And that's one of the things, Ray, I like about your plan. It wasn't some separate something tucked away that you only said, you know, and when you were in front of young people, you made it a core part of your economic plan, right? Made it a core part of your public safety plan that these are New Yorkers. It doesn't matter that they're not eligible to vote. It doesn't matter that, you know, I'm only talking about a certain subject. I'm talking about all children, investing in them financially, making sure they have resources. And as Ty was mentioning, the space that we are not shooing kids away, you know, from being New Yorkers. They're New Yorkers too. And
Right.
they deserve the investment in the space and a city that is focused on their development as well. Thank you to both Fly Ty and Ty for joining us. And we have a whole lot of questions.
Ty, thank you. Fly Ty, a lot of respect. Ty, a lot of respect. Thank you. You're making a difference.
All right. You ready for the questions?
Fire away. You know I'm ready for these questions.
All right. So here's a really great question. I like this one. What are the two biggest things you want voters to know about you and about your plan to help try to get your name out?
They should know that I'm a person whom they can believe and trust, number one. And number two, I have a track record of leading and running large, complex organizations like New York City. And I have a track record and have done that better than, with more accountability than all the other candidates combined.
That's what you want. Okay. I love it. All right, moving on, because there's a lot in here. Here's this. A Republican told Ms. Beck-Jess that you know about business, but asked if you know how to navigate politics. I feel like you get this question a lot.
I get it. I'm asking, how do we look now for the people who apparently knew how to navigate politics, and we've gone backwards? We just heard the two Ties, Sly Ty and Ty, talk about where our children are. And Sly Ty talked about where our children were when he was growing up, taking the test because they were prepared. And now we look at, I don't know, just a handful of us who are in these in these programs. We're not prepared. So the difference between me and the rest of them, I didn't get termed out. I ain't looking for a promotion. I ain't been part of it administration, failed administration, or otherwise, and I ain't never run for president. What I have done is manage large, complex organizations with lots of different agendas, some of which are political. And I did that longer than anybody else. So I would take those skills, that judgment, that experience, that success, and apply it to what I'm going to do when I'm leading this city. And I want you to hold me accountable the way I've been held accountable, against the highest level of scrutiny, completely transparent. And you know what? If I didn't perform, I didn't get paid, and my people didn't get paid. Otherwise, if I didn't perform, I'd have gotten fired. And I lasted longer than anybody else. And I left to my own accord. Ain't nobody else in this race got any kind of track record like that, otherwise known as receipts.
Well, Ray, I know, you know, people, I think into this question are talking about, you know, working in government, and even I've worked in government and politics for a while. And I can tell you one of the, even today, the thing that frustrates me the most is the bureaucracy, right? Is navigating everybody's individual agenda when you're just trying to help people. You're just trying to make sure people can eat. You're just trying to make sure people have a roof over their head, and people are talking to you about, well, that's not just how it's done, or, you know, the bureaucracy, or you need to, you know, jump through all of these hoops before we can get to that. I'm sure there's some level of bureaucracy in the private sector. Talk to us a little bit more about how you navigated that, and, you know, what we can expect with Ray McGuire as mayor to cut through all of that.
So you're right. In the public and the private sector, there is also a lot of bureaucracy. And you can imagine going through the crisis, how that bureaucracy kind of stopped a lot of the progress or stalled a lot of the progress. So you got to have a vision, you got to have a plan, and then you got to surround yourself with the people who can execute on that plan. You got to identify the best people. You got to empower them. You got to hold them accountable to certain standards or factors that you say are important to execute on your vision. And what you need to do is you need to build coalitions, right? I can't do this alone. And you need to be able to identify the people and help you cut through the bureaucracy. I couldn't have been where I am or stayed for as long as I did if I hadn't been able to cut through the bureaucracy. The same thing is going to happen here. The system is bloated. We got too much bureaucracy. We take too long to pay the not-for-profit organizations. You know, sometimes 6 to 9 months. That's bureaucracy. We'll cut through. I know how to make things operate more efficiently. Sometimes I had to do less with more, more with less. And then I had to do everything with nothing. And when you got nothing, you got to do everything. You will quickly figure out how to cut through the bureaucracy. We got too much bureaucracy here. I will cut through it. And I'm going to introduce something that this administration clearly has never introduced and never thought about, called technology. And technology is going to help me operate and lead more efficiently than what this government is currently leading. We need to have that. This government needs to operate more efficiently. It needs to operate like a business. People need to be held accountable. And if they're not meeting the standards which we set out to which they agree, then that's another conversation, which I'm perfectly prepared to have.
Mm. Well, this is another question you get asked pretty frequently, that if elected, what are your top 3 priorities?
The answer is got to have jobs. No jobs, no city. No jobs, no economy. No jobs, no dignity. It's the economy. I got to have economy. And economy means I got to make certain that people get put to work and that we have a safe place for them to live and that it's a place that they can afford. So it's jobs, economy, affordability. That's number 1. Number 2, I got to make the street safe. I got to make the street safe. And I also make certain that the police protect me and don't profile me. And then we got to get our kids educated. So it's the economy, it is safety and justice, and it's education. Those are my top 3 priorities.
Love it. And connected to that, you have your top 3 priorities, but then someone else asked, and I guess this is I've heard you answer this before. What is the very first thing, right? You get sworn in, you walk into the office. What's the first thing you're doing?
You know, that's a great question. I would make certain I got the right team, for one. Outline a vision, make certain I set out the factors for that team to execute on. One of which would be to make certain that we had technology into our communities, because 1.5 million New Yorkers a day don't have access to tablets or broadband, especially our children. I'm going to be focused on our children. That's the future. And I need to make sure that they have the right tools, including technology and tablets, so that we can educate them.
Makes sense. Here's a good one. With such a demanding job when you were at Citi, how did you find the time to help others and mentor others? Because we've heard a lot from some of the mentees that you've had throughout your career and the organizations that you have supported. And Crystal, I'm going to bring you into this question as well, because you've talked a lot about what Ray has done in this space as well. What a demanding job. He talked about being held accountable, being there for 13 years, meeting expectations, exceeding expectations, but still had the time to help others and extend the ladder. How did you find time to do that?
So let me just say, when I came into this business, there were maybe 1 or 2 people who looked like me. And I knew that the ladder had been extended to me by those who were in the civil rights movement, the Vernon Jordans, the Frank Thomas, and the Dick Parsons of the world. Parsons was less so in business as a mentor. But I looked at their examples, and I looked in my world where there was nobody for me to call. In a world of corporate finance, nobody who I could call to ask some basic questions. So I had to navigate that. And what I committed to personally was that every phone call and every email that I got, that I would respond to, because I thought that was important. To whom much is given, much is required. And that scripture from Luke always has been with me. So I always found the time. You got to prioritize. You got to make sure that you manage your time so that you can do the things that are most important. The job is important. The family is the most important. And then those who can benefit from the experience that I've had extending that ladder. So I had to do that, and you have to make the time, right? There's no such thing. This is the most precious asset that we have. We can't get that time back. So a young person reaches out, and they're not just reaching out to chat. They want advice. They want to understand how I got to where I was able to get to. So you take the time, you make the time. And I remember, the same thing, you meet the same people going up as you do coming down. And I want people to be treated the way I want to be treated. And so had there been someone there whom I could call and ask advice, I would have, but there wasn't. So I always played the role of making certain that when I got to a position where I did have some experience, where I could invest, that I would do that. And that has been one of the most inspiring, gratifying aspects of this journey. I look at many of those mentees of mine, many of them are doing extraordinarily well. And I get so much pride and so much hope and so much confidence from that.
And Crystal, you've talked about a lot. You say to me a lot that, Ray has done this and has really led his life. Because people get the question we ask all the time, where have you been, right? Just because he wasn't in running for office. So every time they want to know what he's done, why they didn't know his name, why they can't see his name up on the wall. And you talk about this, what Ray just mentioned about investment and making the time to give back. Talk a bit more about, your family's perspective on previously, before running for office, you weren't seeking to get the applause.
Right. I mean, Ray, anyone that knows Ray individually or through an institution, organization, community organization, church, school, hospital, anyone that knows Ray for the past nearly 4 decades knows that he has been what I call a private public servant. So this whole notion, as one thinks about what is it that qualifies a person to run for public office, what is it that makes them have the relevant skill sets, or what's in their heart, or what's in their sort of, resume. And so what I will say to people about Ray that don't know who he is, I will say that he has been materially improving the lives of New Yorkers for the past 35 plus years in an array of ways. Whether it has been just having a general approach to how he has treated the blessings that he has, the hard work he has done. He has always been about extending the ladder to those coming up behind him. I mean, he will frequently say that he might have been the first to get into a boardroom or get into a corporation, but he always made sure that he was never the last. He has known, just if we're talking professionally, he has been known on Wall Street, in the business world, in the finance world, as that person that all the young people would go to for mentorship, and not just going to him for mentorship in finance, but going to him for mentorship in needing assistance with figuring out how to do, how to finance a startup, how to get some capital to open a restaurant, just small business owners across a wide array of types of businesses. Ray has been that person who has been there and has put his time, his resources, his knowledge, his money where his mouth is. From building schools to, helping to build arts and cultural institutions, to helping to make sure there's been Wi-Fi and broadband deserts through his work with the New York Public Library. It's just been a broad swath of support that he has given to New Yorkers. And we don't know about it. Why? Because Ray has been raised by a mother who is 95 years old now, who has said, be known by your deeds, not by your words.
Yeah.
When he saw the crisis New York City was in, he's like, I'm stepping out front now.
Yeah. And it's hard, as you try to represent New Yorkers. And Crystal, I can speak to him being, older uncle and wanting to help out. As you know, my first time meeting Ray over the summer, my husband and I were celebrating, like having the down payment on our house. And, I didn't really know Ray that much, Crystal. I met you before through Higher Heights stuff or whatever. And so I told him the story when we sat down for lunch, because it was going to be my out in case like the conversation wasn't going well. I could be like, well, I'm going to go celebrate with my husband now. But he ended up spending like 25 minutes of the first time we were meeting walking me through like the process as it pertains to buying a house that, we were able to be, we knew some of the stuff up front as we've been going and negotiating the process here. And Ray, I don't know if you remember that, like during the process or whatever, and you were asking me which bank and what you're going to look at, and your closing costs is separate, and all of this piece, and really knowing that. So I can speak to just his general nature, and I don't think he had really decided yet if he was going to go all in. I think he was like 98% there. But yes, Ray really is the person. If you tell him some random thing that you're about to do and he knows about like 25% of it, he gonna talk to you for like 20 minutes about it. Like Meek Mill on his phone.
Our son, our 21-year-old son, Cole, introduced Ray, I guess it's a couple years ago now, where he was being honored by a youth basketball organization. And I wasn't sure, at that time he was, I guess, 19 or something. And I wasn't sure what Cole was going to say in his introduction of Ray. And he said, I'm going to do these remarks myself. I was like, are you sure you don't need any help from mommy? And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And it was interesting because he led the remarks about Ray with how much of a mentor and support system that Ray had been, not just to him, obviously, but to his village of basketball teammates. And he said it like this. He said, Ray never wants to see anyone without, and he never wants to see an injustice, be it social or be it economic. And he is going to be there to right that. And that is how this man has lived his life.
Yeah. Well, Ray's just sitting there grinning, as your family would say.
I'm good. I've got 3/4 talking. Joey got the mic. I'm good.
All right. Well, you do have one more question, and Crystal, thank you. You do have one more question here that I want to bring in. From Sometimes Brooklyn is asking about stop and frisk and what your views are on the use, the police tactic of stop and frisk here in New York City.
750, 800,000 Black and brown boys' lives interrupted by stop and frisk? No, there's got to be a better way. I want police to protect me, not profile me. There's got to be a better way. And I know there is, because the number of crimes, incidents of crimes went down after we ended stop and frisk. I don't need quotas on my head.
That's it. That's simple. Well, I'm just going to show this shout out because we don't give Staten Island enough love.
What's up, Staten Island? There you go. I was on the island. Man, they got some black folk out there doing a whole bunch of great stuff. I was so proud. I walked around with the leadership, went to they got a ballroom out there that's like hot. Y'all need a big special event. Drive out to Staten, don't sleep on Staten Island. Them people out there is getting it done. So hello to my crew from Staten Island. I miss y'all. Thank you for being around, okay?
Well, listen, you have been all over the city, and we have 31 days to go until the last day to vote, because I like to think of Election Day as the last day to vote, because, if you're voting absentee ballots are going out now. You can still request an absentee ballot right now at NewYorkCityAbsentee.com and get your absentee ballot. I believe the deadline to request a ballot is June 15th. So you can vote absentee. You can vote early. Early vote starts June 12th. So you can find out where your early vote location is at vote.nyc and make your plan to vote, because studies show, Ray, when you make your plan to vote, you will actually go and do it. Crystal, I know you are also making your plan to vote, and we are, of course, using ranked choice voting. So just a quick thing for mayor, controller, borough president, city council. You can rank your choices 1 through 5. You do not give Ray an extra boost if you rank him 1 5 times. But we do want you to rank Ray number 1 and do your choices from there. And, it'll be on the ballot, rank Ray 1. You can put that on social media. Now, if you are supporting Ray, you are ranking Ray number 1. We want to see the shout outs, and then maybe Ray will just send you, Crystal, maybe he'll figure out how to send a meme of Meek Mill rapping or something to you. But Crystal, I know you wanted to add something else. No, we don't. We don't want Meek
Save that
Mill.
for later, sweetheart. Dinner music. late dinner music. But I do just want to say for everyone listening that Tuesday, May 25th, we are having a Zoom rally for Ray. You'll see it all over social media. And it is comprised of our students for Ray, our young professionals for Ray, young leaders for Ray, young tech for Ray. And it will be, a pep rally leading up to May 28th, which is the final day to register to vote if you are not currently registered to vote in New York City. And so if you register to vote, if you're not registered to vote, you must register as a Democrat to vote for Ray, because he is a Democrat.
Mhm.
That deadline's May 28th, but we're going to want you to join us on Tuesday, May 25th at 6:30 p.m. Tell all your friends. We'll have a little bit, maybe if Miss Joy has some time, she can jump on the call with us, but we'll have some exciting young guests who will tell you why they are ranking Ray number 1. Tuesday, May 25th, 6:30 p.m. Join us.
All in.
I love it. I love it. And then the next
Meek Mill. We might play Meek Mill, Ray.
We might.
that'll convince him to come. And look, the next debate is also June 2nd, and your boy Ray McGuire will be in fighting shape.
In the house, getting it done.
You can't play Meek Mill at the debate, though.
I ain't gonna play Meek Mill. I'm gonna say like Muhammad Ali. If y'all ever think about, y'all better wake up and apologize.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
All right. Well, again, rank Ray number 1.
Share your one-liners for Ray.
And actually, Ray, I'm going to put your email address back up on the screen here. If you have better song suggestions,
Don't go there. Look at you.
if you have better song suggestions for Ray, you can email him directly at rayformayor.com and give him better song suggestions than what
This is all sorts of suggestions. Another thing I'm just chatty. I know Ray's going to be like, stop making quaitments. You know what quaitments are, Joy. Has he accused you of that before?
Let me get Joy's email in here. But
Oh my gosh.
it
Oh my gosh.
is late. Okay.
No.
My last thing is share more than that, because we don't know what we don't know. And what that means is this is a collaboration where we want to hear from all New Yorkers.
Absolutely. And look, you can email him and invite him to come out. Look, Memorial Day weekend is coming up. We'll have Ray out in the streets, eating people's barbecue, maybe. So maybe you can tell us what your block party, what your community is going, and maybe Ray will come out and join, and he'll be walking with his solo speaker and Meek Mill playing on the radio. But thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Joy. And as always, we have to give a little shout out to L. Joy Williams. We are so blessed to have you on Team Ray. For real, because we know you are about New York City. You are about truth. You want what is best for all New Yorkers. And we are truly grateful to have you on our team and to be sharing your vision with us. So God bless you.
All right.
Thank you.
Tell your
All
husband
right.
thank you for letting your Friday night be spent with us. He has to come on next time. Date night.
Okay.
Okay.
I see that. I see that.
Okay.
All right.
you.
Have a good one, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.